everyone, it's Sally with the Polka Dot Life. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in the United States. If you are not currently working with a demonstrator, I would love to help you. Please reach out to me at sally@thepolkadotlife.com and let me know just what it is that you need help with. What are your goals? What would you like to do? Would you like a catalog as well? Just request that at thepolkadotlife.com. There's a tab along the top for catalog request, and just fill out your information and I will get the copies of the latest catalogs off to you. Reminding you, it is still Celebration. Celebration is the biggest party of the year, and it's the very best time to join Stampin' Up! Don't let that scare you at all. The Stampin' Up! Police are not going to come and knock at your door. It's just a way to become a discount shopper. You can sign up for that on my website as well, or shoot me an email if you have any questions. Let's flip the camera down and get started on today's project. Today I'm going to be taking my project from the annual catalog, and it's kind of easy to miss, but if you start browsing, you'll see just like different indexes and telling you where different things are in the catalog. But soon you come upon some kits. We have different kinds of kits at Stampin' Up! Some include absolutely everything, some do not. For instance, these two kits contain everything. They contain a Stampin' Spot, the stamps, the paper, the envelopes, everything. But we are going to keep going. I also want to point out the boho indigo on this matching page. It's gorgeous for one thing, but it is what they call a product medley. It doesn't tell you what cards to make, those kind of things. It comes with everything in that kit to make several projects, whether you want to make scrapbook projects or cards or just crafting in general. That is what this is for. It comes with ribbons and embellishments. It comes with dies, all sorts of things you can read about here. And that is what a product medley is. And you can buy a refill kit for that as well. But we are going to be focusing right here on page 8 on the Gorgeous Posies project kit. It is kind of in two sections. This one, the project kit, has the things you need for cards. It has ribbon, it has thread, it has tags, embellishments. What it does not have, it does not have the stamp set. And these are small down here for the catalog. They are actually shown at like, I don't know, 20, 40%. Your catalog will always tell you that usually. If you're wondering how big is the stamp set, it'll tell you what percentage that photograph is or that graphic is. So you have to order the stamp set separately. You wouldn't need to. If you didn't want to, you could just use some sentiments that you have and you would be able to make some lovely cards. But I love the stamp set as well. This is kind of like a paper pumpkin kit, that once you use the contents of the kit, you can still continue making cards with the stamp set. And I do believe that there are some extras in here that you'll have as well. So it tells us here what we need. We need these 4 Stampin' pads. They are Gorgeous Grape, Highland Heather, Blackberry Bliss, and Blushing Bride. We need some glue dots, and we need some dimensionals and an adhesive, and they suggest the Stampin' Seal. I'm actually going to use that today. This is great for a gift. You can give the whole kit to someone that loves to craft, and they will have a very nice time, and then they'll have cards. Or you could put the cards together yourself and then gift the finished product to someone, and that would be lovely as well. Our card kit comes with instructions. You will notice here, it tells you everything that's included. It tells you what to do here, the steps and the order of your project. It gives you some tips, tells you what additional products you need. There's even a link to the Stampin' Up! YouTube channel if you wanted to watch about this kit there. And it also has directions in different languages if that interests you. On the back side, it shows you, it's a diagram that shows you everything that you need for that particular card, and you just assemble it. I am going to move this off camera because I cannot see it otherwise. Actually, this comes with a plastic sleeve over it and inside a cardboard box, so it's very protected. The flowers are gorgeous. This reminds me of maybe an old cigar box, those sorts of things that we used to have that our parents saved and made use of. And this is great. You could do the same thing with this. It has this nice little loop closure, and then you open it up and it has the Blushing Bride inside and all of the contents. I'm going to take these out so that we can get into them and get started and move this out of the way. And then I wanted to show you before we get started as well. As I said, you can make your own cards once the kit is gone. And I use this stamp set. I did use an embossing folder as well, but I just used that stamp set to make my own designer series paper. And you know what? I think some people are a purple lover or they are not. I'm generally not, but I actually like this, especially when it was mixed with these other colors. And I even decided to make my example in the Gorgeous Grape and Highland Heather, but I didn't have to do that. I could have picked any color that I enjoyed or that my recipient might enjoy. But I just used the embossing folder, and I took some of our shimmery white paint and used an old Wink of Stella brush and some ink refill, and I just painted on here to give it that little, I hope it shows up online because it's super pretty. And I made a big bow. I just put some of this ribbon to soften that seam. It's not going to hide it, but to soften a little bit. And then our sentiment is on here, celebrating your day. It could be a lovely birthday card or a wedding card, a shower card, any of those occasions, it would be appropriate. So let's look in here and unpack this. We're just going to make a big mess, and it's going to be fun. Oh, this ribbon is nice. It's a little bit wrinkly from being in that pouch, but if you just take your hand, the warmth of your hand will usually get any of the wrinkles out for our purposes that we need it to. We'll just keep going over this as we use each little piece, but you don't want to pull super hard on it because this is sheer in the middle and it could separate like it did there just a little bit. But I probably wouldn't do it on this ribbon, but several of our ribbons, if you had a hair straightener and you put it on low and you pull this through it really quickly, you would be able to take some of these little folds out of it. You could absolutely maybe put this on an ironing board with some parchment paper over it on a very low iron setting and get the wrinkles out. But I think for our purposes, we're only using short amounts of it and we're going to be folding it and manipulating it. So I don't think it's going to be an issue. I love this. This is super pretty. So let's grab a pair of scissors and dig into our kit. When they do these kits, they usually make very nice envelopes. I'm somewhat of a stationery snob. So let's see here. We have our chipboard that helps keep everything nice and neat. And you never know which way these are. Okay, I wasn't sure if these had gold on them or if they are just embossed, I think. I think they are just embossed. And I think we have different shapes and sizes of these. This one is similar, but they're a little longer. Let's see, here are some beautiful, and these have gold foiling on them. They are so pretty. And like I say, I am usually not a big purple lover, but when they're put with the pink and the green, it's very soft and muted. And even if they kind of have a watercolor effect, then I think they're super pretty. Let me know in the comments, are you a purple lover or no? What is your favorite color? My favorite color is red. And it's funny because it's red, but I was really getting tired of doing holiday cards this year, and I didn't do a lot of them in red. I don't know why, but it seems as though the holiday ones in red really aren't my favorite. We have envelopes. Oh, look at the back of that. How pretty is that? And then they're also done on the inside. That's a very good mark of a good quality piece of stationery. And the weight of these is really, really nice. So we have several of those. I want to say we make 4 of each card, which would make 16 cards, I think is what it is. One thing else that's nice about a card kit is there isn't any prep. You just open it and it's time to play. So we have some mint macaron. We have Highland Heather or maybe Purple Posy. This might be Purple Posy, I'm not sure. And then we have some Blushing Bride. We have mostly Blushing Bride, I think. And let's see. Oh, these are, if you've had any of our Memory and More kits, this is similar to that. They are kind of like your card front layer. And you can, like I say, you can throw these instructions out the window and do these any way you would like to. Cut these up, do whatever you want. They are your cards, and you can make them however it makes you smile. So that is super terrific. Our instruction says for step 1, stamp in Blackberry Bliss. At the very back, it looks to me, I'm having a hard time determining which is which. I want to say the Blackberry Bliss would look nice with this because it has those flowers in it, but it would go with either one. I really can't tell the difference. I think it's this one though, so we'll go with the purple. Okay, so for this card, we are going to use this. I actually do think that's Purple Posy, but everything else seems to be Highland Heather in this. So let's take this card base, and it says that we are to mount the coordinating card front layer to our base. I think this is actually Purple Posy, but everything else is Highland Heather. So we are going to put our coordinating card front on there. I am usually a green glue girl, but I am going to do my best with the tape runner today. I used to always be a tape runner exclusively when I did a lot of scrapbooking, but I don't know, I got out of it and I love my green glue now. So, but I'm giving this a good college try. I like the Stampin' Seal Plus the best, but we are going to work with this and I am determined to do better with it. It is great that it doesn't leave a lot of residue, and I'd like to get that a little closer. I find that not straight up and down, but just a slight angle works best, and it does work best when you start on top of another adhesive strip like that and then roll it from there. This is a vertical card, and so we're just going to, you just kind of want to see that these 3 sides are about the same, and generally then the 4th side will work itself out. How fun is that? But if you decided you wanted to use a different color card base, you could absolutely play around, do that too. We use a larger sentiment for this card, but it does not appear to be this one. Sometimes it's a process of elimination because that one would be too wide. But I can see on the picture that it must be this one because of the cutout pattern. And you can generally just kind of looking and flipping it around, you can just kind of see what side you, if you can't tell, you pick which side you like best. So we are going to get our Blackberry Bliss ink pad out. And our sentiment. For a very thoughtful, kind and thoughtful friend. Not sure this stamp has been inked up yet, so I just want to make sure it is covering well. One nice thing about these labels is when you can't tell the difference between the front and back, you always have a second option, see, to stamp again. That's a little bit crooked, but I think I can live with that. Blackberry Bliss is one of those rich colors that I am going to put away before I stick my hand into it. Okay, we have our sentiment. I've measured out just a piece of ribbon. I've angled it on both sides. It's just a little bit larger than our sentiment that is going to go here. It's going to extend past this gold frame just a little bit on each side. And I can see that where these halos are of this pink, of this Blushing Bride, that we are just going to go in here, and I'm going to go clear out about that gold point and over to that gold point. Well, that is if my tape runner will work. I'm going to go from there to here. And I'm simply going to take this piece of ribbon, and you know, since it's curling a little bit, I want to just make sure that this bottom portion of the ribbon catches on that. And I can see that this is even still a little bit too long over here, and that also being loose gives us the option to trim it. And it's pretty much going to be covered up on this side, so I'm not too worried about that. I want to get some dimensionals and put on the back of my sentiment. Oops. And we'll just take our backings off. And then we'll just press this right down here, leaving a little bit of an edge of this ribbon out from underneath. Super cute. I have our die cut pieces that we need, a double leaf, a single leaf, and our flower. We know that we want our flower to go up on a dimensional. And you can, if you want, just kind of curve these flower petals around. Whatever makes you happy, you can do that. I also want to use some of our glue dots. And we're just going to scoop one up and maybe about fold it in half. And I am going to put one right here on this leaf. I am going to put one on the other leaf. And I'm thinking I just want to wait and do those. I want to see how this goes and put those on after I adhere this. This is under the word friend, but it kind of comes up around it, and you can make it however you want. I kind of want that foiling to show, but I also don't want it off that edge. and it still is just a little bit off that edge, so I'm going to move it in. There, I like that better. We are going to take our double leaf and we can just slide it in. I want it to be up touching that sentiment the way that, or the label the way they have it. And so that's kind of why I didn't want to do it ahead of time. I can lay that right on that label, that sentiment strip, and put it where I want. And then you can go underneath with your, take your pick tool and kind of press that up into that flower. And then we'll do the same thing with this. And I want it to go between the flower and our label. I don't know if I love that angle. Let's angle it just a little bit better this way. And I kind of want that to turn down rather than up, so we'll just do that. I have a piece of this twine, and I am just going to simply take it and make a bow. The instruction sheet shows like a loop behind the sentiment layer, and I just didn't love that. So I would rather put this where I'm going to see it. And that looks terrible, but you can adjust your loops and make your bow look pretty. It's just string, and if you don't like it, you can start again or just kind of work with it, take your time with it, get it to be the way you like it. And since it's tucking underneath, you're not going to see actually if it's a little bit longer on one side than the other. We're going to take this glue dot that I've wadded up here, put it in the back, and I think I would like to just put it right up underneath here, kind of at an angle. And you can either press that down into your die cut, or I'm going to try to get it more adhere to the base of the card. I think it'll be more stable there. But I think that's really cute. I like that a lot. Let me get my ribbon scissors. I do have two pairs of scissors. One that is just for ribbon and string so I don't get adhesive all over it. There. That's really pretty. I like that a lot. Let's pull out a Blushing Bride card base. This is going to be a horizontal card. And again, let's get our card front that coordinates with this particular direction. This is going to be the one where we stamp in Blushing Bride. That is so pretty. I love flowers. And we can just simply I'm getting there. The jury's still out with that on me, but we're giving it a good try. And when you use the seal, if you don't press it down, you generally can, you know, pick something up and maneuver it where you want to go. The Seal Plus is a little stronger, and you might not be able to do that, but that looks good, so let's do that. Let's find the appropriate tag for our sentiment. Get the Blushing Bride ink. And this one is celebrating your day. Perfect. This particular stamp set does not come with inside gratings, so you could either pull that from another stamp set, or you could just leave it and write your own message in there. Again, we know we want this a little bit longer than our sentiment. It's kind of the same style as before. I'm going to cut mine this way. That's how they have theirs going. And then I'm just going to cut the same way over here. And because this is a horizontal card, it can be a little bit longer, and that's still fine. So, learn from the last one through, because I didn't put my purple thread on when I should have. We can just take a little of this seal, and we can just kind of figure out where we want it to go. Want it about right in here. And we're going to be putting a lot more things down. I'm actually going to cut this a little bit shorter. Just because we're going to be adhering some die cuts and things there. We'll give it a little more paper to grab onto rather than the ribbon. And we're going to put a little, we're going to be building that up, so it's going to be hidden. Let's put a little of that down and just hold that right down there. You know, let's just do a little bit more over here as well. Don't want it necessarily clear up to where it stops, but I think I would like a little bit. And this is where I get frustrated with a tape runner. But I do like that you don't have the glue sometimes getting where it shouldn't be. It tells us we are using 4 inches of ribbon, or 110 centimeters, which I'm really bad at math. The metric system, I think that's probably about right. Kind of looks like they're tying a bow, and actually I think that that is much easier to do before you cut it off. So I can do that. You know, that just wastes a little too much for me. Let's do that here. And we'll just kind of see if our loops are about the same size or close. There we go, like that better. And I'll leave my tails a little bit long, maybe not that long. And we are going to, let's put this on our sentiment. And I actually think that I would like that up on dimensionals. Again, this is where you get to have creator's choice of whether you would like things on dimensionals, whether you wouldn't. I think that just gives us more room to work there on that layer. These little dimensionals adhesive papers are all through my house. My cats will be like playing with something. I'll try to figure out what it is, and it is one of those. Let's put, it's about right, corner of that. I'm going to put this up so I can see whether it is straight. And I am going to grab one of these glue dots. I'm going to kind of roll it up, not tightly. I want to have a big surface area for this one. And I'm just going to put it on the back. And you know, on the example, theirs doesn't show a lot. And I love this purple thread, so I'm just going to park that there with this glue dot until we build some of our other things, because this card has a few more of the die cut pieces than the other card did. So we have the pink swirl, we have, well, a blushing bride swirl, we have the Highland Heather flower, we have a double leaf, the smaller size, and then we have a single leaf. So let's go ahead and build those up. Looks like our purple flower goes on first. I think I'm going to adopt the motto of holding that purple thread until last, because it is so pretty. And I want to make sure that it gets a nice spotlight on our card. So let's put that one down first. I am going to just take a little bit of this adhesive and put along one side of this die cut. And I am just going to layer it up right here. Actually, you know what? The end of this is going to need a dimensional. You could even cut one in half if you didn't want to use a whole one. But I want to put it opposite from where I put that tape runner, because I want that tape runner to kind of catch it and hold it on top of that purple flower. There you go. Every once in a while, I just have to pull that tail off that tape runner. It drives me crazy. We're going to pick up another glue dot. We are going to just make it a little bit smaller. And let's do our double one first. And it's going to come out the bottom and side right here in between these other two die cuts. And you may need to put take your pick tool in there and just, or the blade of your scissors, if that's what you have. If you don't have this, you could certainly take the blade of your scissors and put that in there. And I'm just going to give that a little rub to make sure it stays. So let's do that with our, not our ribbon scissors, but our other scissors. Let me show you. It's my understanding that Stampin' Up! Demonstrators of years ago didn't have a take your pick tool, so they used their scissors for everything, their snips. And so we are going to take this leaf and put this glue dot right here. And then we will simply take this along this crease on this other side, put it down in there, and then see, we can just take the blade of that scissor just to give us something to push against, and just kind of making sure that that is all. Use your finger, make sure you don't have any sticky parts sticking out, that you don't have to slide that down in a little bit further. But there, isn't that pretty? And then let's take our little ribbon. I just think that it just is too pretty to waste. And let's just take it. We can take our scissors again just to show you that you can take what you have. Let's kind of lift that up and then scoot it off there. And you can hook it to both sides, this petal and the card. And there, I think that looks so much better when you can actually see it and it pops on that Blushing Bride cardstock. Oh, that's very pretty. I like that a lot. Let's try our hand at one of the mint macaron, and it is a horizontal card, and I believe that this one does use that very long piece. It appears that it goes the whole way across there. It also appears that our ribbon, let's get another little, like I say, don't want to pull too hard. Just give it a nice little, with the warmth of your hand. This one is going to be covered mostly by our sentiment. And this one is going this way on this card. Let's do the same there. And almost forgot to grab our mint macaron layer here. And again, you could use any color that you want to stamp your greeting. And this one, I believe they call for the Highland Heather, but I think we might be rebels and do it differently. Like I say, I can get some of that on me, but I can just pull it right off and it doesn't ruin a card. So that's what I like about this tape runner. I love that we have different choices for demonstrators and for customers. However we want to glue our projects or adhere them together, we have so many options. You could take tape runner, or you could take tear and tape and put down here if you really wanted to, and just do it that way. You know, we have a lot of great options. There we go. That is down. Lovely. And let's see, that card and that ribbon, I'm going to put a nice size strip across here. It just takes a little bit to get started, and it's kind of hard for me to see it. I was supposed to go get my eyes checked. I was due at the beginning of April last year. Well, you know, the doctor's office was on lockdown, like everybody mostly was at that time. And then I just didn't feel comfortable about going. I thought, oh, I don't really need to go. You know, we always think we're fine. And then I just really started seeing a big notice a big change in my vision. And so I made an appointment. They were able to get me in quickly, even though it wasn't an emergency. They weren't that busy. And I felt super safe, waited in my car. They called me in and put me in a room. It was great. And so my vision did change quite a bit. So I'm anxious to get word that my new glasses are in. The last time I got glasses, I got a pair for up-close crafting and computer work. I would like to tell you, those are great for us card makers. Awesome. And we have our sentiment. And I think that is the side I would like to stamp on. And the greeting for this one is wishing you comfort and peace at this time. And I do need some sympathy cards. So I really love the Blackberry Bliss on this, so that's what we are going to use, just because I can. But we're going to slide that over there, away from that ink pad. think that I've used this stamp before. This one, and it's long, so you want to make sure that you get all of it. And I apologize that my head is probably in the camera. So pretty. Pretty font. I'm going to bring my dimensionals in. Put those on the back side. Okay, we have our dimensionals. We're just going to peel those backings off and toss them to the side with reckless abandon. Let's put our sentiment down. Again, I don't love that little flip up there at the end of that ribbon. And we are just going to work through it. And I'm going to, again, just take a little bit of this adhesive. It's kind of ooey gooey, twirl around like cotton candy, put it on the end here. And now that was stuck to my finger there, that little portion. But you know what? I picked that up, and now I'm just going to rehome it right there under that edge. Super cute. Make sure that my sentiment is straight. All right. Now, we need some die cuts. We need a pink swirl. We need a Highland Heather swirl. And it looks as though we need 2 of the singles. So let's make one a larger one and one a smaller one. We would want to put a dimensional. See, I'm losing things now in my desk, on my desk here. We want to put a dimensional. I'm actually going to put the dimensional down first, a little bit closer. Well, I guess a little bit. I'm going to tuck it under there. And I am going to pull that backing off with my Take Your Pick tool. And I am going to place this so that it's over top of our sentiment, but it's not going to be hanging down here because of that dimensional. And then I'm also going to use dimensional. We are going to just have lots of dimension on this card. Put that in the middle of our Highland Heather. And I want it a little bit over this way. And we're going to take our glue dots again. Grab one. I'm going to put this smaller leaf, I believe, in the front. We'll just bend it just slightly and put that on there. And I am just going to fish it up underneath this other die cut and give it a press there. And we're going to do the same with the larger leaf. Okay, put our glue dot on, and we're going to put that under, slide that underneath there, and we're just going to bring it up, and whatever it connects to is fine, either one of those die cuts. I'm just going to slide it in there till it is happy, and we can just bend it a little bit, even on the end of our Take Your Pick tool, to give it a little shape. And then again, we are going to do the same thing we did before with our gorgeous grape ribbon or our thread. Wish they sold this. This is so pretty. And I say that as not a big purple lover, but it is a really pretty color. Of course, we have the white now, so we can make that be whatever color we want. So that is fun. And let's grab a glue dot and roll it between our fingers. And we'll just catch this on the edge. And let's just take it over here. And you know, I'm going to bring it down a little bit just because my sentiment is right there. And I don't want to cover just the very first part of that up. We're just going to slide it. And you make it so that you don't even, it's not quite as bow shaped. You can just tuck it up under there and then it just looks like loops if you want to. Your choice. You can make it be loops or you can pull that up across there and let your bow loops show. And here's our third card. That is really pretty. And then our last card also uses a Blushing Bride base. It has a different card front. There are two. And you know, I think you could just leave it like that and it would be absolutely gorgeous. That is an option as well. But that's what's nice about this one is you can decide whether you like the sentiments in the stamp set that coordinates, or maybe you don't. And you can use one that you already have, or you could certainly make these up and wait till the last minute to put a sentiment on because you don't know what occasion you need a card for. It's also a possibility. Make sure that opens the right way. We're going to line it up so it lines up nicely on 3 sides. And we are going to adhere that down. This uses a round sentiment. And so let's stamp that. And it is going to say, "Get well soon." And that one is in the Highland Heather. And I keep saying this, I am not a big purple person, but I do love the colors that they've put together here. It just makes me happy to, this stamp's such a pretty color too. I like short sentiments on round ones because they're always, you can always make them straight. It's a great thing about a round die cut. On this one, it says we're going to use 10 inches of ribbon. And I think that we could just sort of eyeball this. My work mat is on the centimeter side. So I think I probably need to make this a little bit larger. So we'll do that for cutting and then we'll reallocate it here a little bit. Again, I would tell you to use Scotch tape. I did not bring mine over here to my filming desk, but we'll just take some of this tape runner. It works well also. And I'm just kind of holding that in place because as much as I would like to do it from the back, we want to make sure that our sentiment is going the correct direction. And let's press that down, at least for one layer. Bring that loop in just a little bit more. And you can kind of make it look like a bow if you want, like this. You can kind of do that however you would want. Again, I have seen other demonstrators with this tape runner. There are a few that can zing right along with it, but I also see some demonstrators that have worked with this for years and they're still having a hard time. So I don't feel that it's just me. Don't feel like it's just you. There is a learning curve, I believe, with it. So if you want to try it out, that's good. If you want to try a tape runner, though, I don't find that the Seal Plus does this as much. That's really pretty. In fact, I have that one here. Let's give it a try, too. Just to give you an accurate depiction. And let's just take that right there because we're going to have a lot of that ribbon. And I feel like the plus actually would hold it pretty well. You know what? I am going to use dimensionals, but I'm going to not worry about that because it may grab onto something and that's fine. It'll just give us a little extra security. But you can run this on top of this really well. And that's what I think needs to happen here. You just have to show this ribbon his boss sometimes. I'm going to put a couple dimensionals down. And I don't like to put it right on top of ribbon unless there's, I kind of want to balance this out a little bit more and put one up over here. I could use my take your pick tool, use your nails, whatever works for you. Stab it a little kindly with your scissors, you could probably do that. And just want to make sure I cover up where we put that tape runner. But it's going to get that bottom layer of that ribbon and make it really nice and secure. And that just kind of makes it stand out a little bit too. Let's pull this down a little bit. And I am just going to grab, let's see if we can do it with the plus. I think it won't work as well with, I'm going to get some of the regular. Just going to get a little bit of this tape runner again and use that to pull that down so that lays just a little bit better. There, that's fun. I like that. And we have a pink. We have the Blushing Bride. Flower is the only one. And small, it looks like. I'm not sure where those larger ones go. I maybe missed out on that somewhere along the line. Well, you know what? Let's do that. Let's save that and use this big one. Things are a little bit bigger on this card, and so let's just do that. But it looks like we have a lot of these to work with. I don't think that we need to worry at all about running out. So what? I think for this one, I do want to put these on first. So let's put this here. Just work down here on this. And then we're going to put one out, one side. Just make sure that's all the way down in there so you don't have any sticky coming out. Remember, it is paper and you show it who's boss. And let's do the same thing here with this side, and we are going to just put it that way. And then we'll take a dimensional and we can even catch those edges at the bottom of that one, just the way this one lays on here. That I think works best. And we can want to still have some of those silver ones showing, but I want it on top of my ribbon, so we're just going to do that. And let's see if we need to do any additional work down under here. I don't think so. I think that is just great. I think that's super pretty. And then again, let's see here. I'm not sure if this one has any of the purple on it. It does not appear that it does. It just has more of that on it. But you could certainly add one if you wanted to. And I feel like my sentiment layer is a little bit wonky there, so I'm going to straighten that label up. This tag. And it's super pretty. We just took our time today, visited a little bit, and went over how to take a card kit and put it together. Of course, we were visiting, and I wanted to make sure that I went slow enough that even a beginner could keep up. If we were doing this production style and I laid out all four of this card and all four of this card at each setting, then we would have 16 cards done and maybe add about 5 minutes. It just would go that fast. And when you do one, then you're able to do the others more quickly. So it's a great way to mass produce some cards. And then again, to remind you that you can always use your stamp set and make additional cards. I did not do the insides of my cards, but that is something that I will do later. I will probably stamp some flowers on the inside and decorate those as well. But again, these envelopes just make such a beautiful presentation with these cards. Don't you think? I think they're just super, super pretty. So maybe a card kit is something, or a project kit is what this is today, but we have others that are card kits or product medleys. Maybe those are something that you've leafed past in the catalog that you would now consider. As always, remember to be kind, send a card, and do something creative. Bye-bye.